There we go. Okay, well, welcome everybody, and thank you for joining us on our first relaunch of Ramp we're calling it Ramp Summer 22. Ramp with Rick for the summer of 22. My wife's going to be on today to help us go through what's going to go on, and I've got a lot of new faces, new people on here, and we're happy to have you all. And we've done this. This is our third time. I want to give you guys just a little history. I've been coaching for about 29 years. About 7.5 years ago, I started coaching with a company called Workman Success Systems and they are headquartered out of Salt Lake City, Utah. And at the time, they were a newer company, although the owner of the company had been involved in coaching companies for a very long time. And I was super impressed with how they coached. They were coaching people to where they wanted to go, not where the coach told them they needed to go. That was one thing that was very different. It's like going to a barber and having them, cut their hair the way they want rather than the way you want. And we've all had that happen. And then now the company is almost 100 coaches. It's a huge company. And as my EXP organization started to grow, I went to them and I said, I need an answer. I want a solution so that I can give people valuable coaching, but not at the several $1,000s that we generally charge for that here at Workman. So the owner, Viral Workman, and his staff sat down with us and said, hey, let's come up with a solution called Enterprise. And that's where they took this package that generally costs $2,500 to $3,000 a year for an agent to have access to, and said, we're going to give it to Rick and his organization for $149 a year. From $2,500 to $3,000 down to $149 a year. Super, super big discount. I'm very grateful. And please, if you have an opportunity to run into people from Workman Success Systems, tell them how grateful you are to have access to this for so little money. And what it is, and I'm going to ask my wife to share her screen. It is basically access to 4 very impressive video coach training programs. And why do I say that? It's because these are widely used by thousands across the United States and Canada, thousands of people, teams, the buyer's agents on their teams and everything. And the 4 programs, scroll up, are Ramp, BAM, AMP, and SLAM. And what those programs are, they each stand for something. Ramp is Rising Aging Mastery Program. BAM is Buyer Agent Mastery. AMP is Admin Mastery, meaning you have to know what's going on in the admin section of your business, whether you have an admin or not. And then when you get an admin, your admin could go through that training program and it would fast start her training. And SLAM is Seller Listing Agent Mastery. What we focus on when you have access to these 4, you can look at any of these anytime you want, 24 hours a day, once you've bought in at 149. Casey's gonna quickly take over and show you how first you sign in to have access to these. Go ahead, babe.
All right,
I've muted myself, so go ahead. Okay, go ahead. You should be able to talk to him.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and mute yourself. I'll talk to you.
Okay.
All right, good morning. So I like to think of things in a why, what, how context. Why are we doing this? What is it? How are we going to do it? And the why piece of this conversation is that at any moment in time, we are in a state of growth personally and professionally, or we are in a state of decay. And where a lot of people sometimes get bamboozled is when things are trudging along and they're going well and it looks like this, which is the flat line, like everything's going good, it's the same, it's consistent. Well, that is actually an early sign of decay. It's called plateau, and plateau is what precedes a decline. And we have been in a very interesting world and a very interesting market, locally to whatever your markets are, and globally to what's happening in global markets. And the truth is that things are shifting and changing every day. So as a business professional, if you do not have a strategy that is an intentional strategy and a proactive strategy to have you personally and professionally growing and advancing, you will find yourself in a plateau where things flatline, which is really just an early sign of decay. And so why this training platform has been put together is to support real estate professionals that want to be professionals in the business. Here's the truth, the market's shifting and it's going to wipe out a bunch of agents out of production. Why? Because they don't have strategies. They're not preparing themselves mentally or with business skills for the shifts and the changes that are inevitable, that are always happening in the industry. And when big shifts happen, there's a huge attrition that happens. So by having a ramp launch once every quarter and running this program 4 times a year, it is about creating a level of self-mastery. If you look at athletes, if you look at anyone that's performing at a really high level, it is a mastery of the basics. And sometimes it's that we don't know what to do. And sometimes it's that we do know what to do and we're not integrating. Sometimes it's a combination of both. And so wherever you find yourself right now at this moment in time, as we launch Ramp summer 2022, what you have the opportunity to do is set yourself up to win and set yourself up for success with a new start. And sometimes what happens is when things are going well, it's like, well, why would I want a new start? It's not, a new start doesn't mean starting over. A new start means giving yourself a mindset and a space to create something out of nothing. When we approach life like we already know it, we've already heard it, I'm already doing that in some way, shape, or form, there is zero room for anything new to come in and any new growth to happen. And so when you look at how to maximize and create at a really high level, there's some basic principles that go into that. And of those basic principles, it's being willing to come to the mindset of being willing to be a beginner, even if you have a level of self-mastery. I'm going to say that again, being willing to approach things with the mindset of being a beginner, even if you have a level of self-mastery where you've created success. And when you come to things in that way, you will hear things in a different way. You will see them from a different perspective, and you give yourself the opportunity to maybe integrate at a level that you've not integrated before. And so from the nuts and bolts, A to Z of being a real estate professional that's going to succeed at a high level, there is nothing missing between these 4 programs in the training center with Ramp, Slam, BAM, and AMP. It is literally everything that you need to create whatever kind of business that you want to create, regardless of what's going on in the market, locally or globally on any given day. And so when we can get this why piece in place and really get our minds and our hearts and our arms wrapped around that, we can move to the, okay, what are we going to do? And how is this going to happen? And how do I best set myself up for success in this program? Some people will be watching this on a replay that have not yet registered for Ramp. And so what we're going to do is show you where to do that and then very easily how to access it. So when you go to Empirebuilders.pro, this is a site that's set up for our organization within EXP for everything for production, onboarding, attraction, and resources for training, learning, and growth on an ongoing basis. Where you'll go to is the Mastery Coaching link. And what you'll see there is you'll see new member and returning member sign in. We launched this for the first time in August of 2022. So if you paid $149 and registered, August of 2021, thank you. If you paid $149 and registered, that is good till August of 2022. You have access to the platform. So it's an annual $149 that goes to Workman Success System. If you've registered at some time before now and you've paid that, you would go to the returning member sign in. If you've never done that, you would go to new member sign up, and this is where you'll see, you'll just make that one-time payment and then you'll get access from there. After you're registered for that, with which most people, if you're on this call right now, you are registered already, you will go to the returning member sign in, and this is going to get you how you access the training platform. And right here where you will add the calls each week to your calendar. If there's one thing I could say in a what there is to do right now, it is click on that link and auto-populate your calendar so that every Friday at 10 a.m. for the next 12 weeks, it's in your calendar. You don't have to go look for a link, wonder what time it is. This is a key thing to do in getting yourself set up. Once you go into the actual training portal, what you're going to see is that I'm already logged into Ramp on that program. And here's what's going to happen starting next week. Monday is the beginning of the official video series where the first coaching call will happen next Friday. This introductory call is really important so that you can take the steps necessary to get yourself set up to not just succeed through the program, but to really win at a high level. And so what you'll see on here is every week, so week number 1, here are all the different sessions that are in week number 1. And where I see that a lot of people don't set themselves up to win is that they don't create a structure for that success. Sessions 1 through 5, there's different video tutorials each day that happen. My invitation to you is time block that in your calendar, stick that in there so that the same time each day, you've got a 15-minute block. So if that video is 4 minutes or 15 minutes, depending on the day, is that you first thing in the morning, whenever that time block spot is for you, that you're getting that video and what there is to do. And each day make progress and follow along with that and do what there is to do for that day, such that when you come to the Friday coaching calls that will be live with Rick, that from there, what you will be able to do is now this is the opportunity for coaching. So if there's things that you need clarification on, or there's things that you've implemented and put into practice, and maybe you've run up against the wall, or you've gotten stuck, or you're feeling like there's something that you need support with, you'll know what those are because you've been plugged in and following along and doing the things that there are to do daily. And I'm going to suggest to you that that's where the real value is going to happen. The value is always in integration. It's not in just the taking in of the knowledge, because nothing happens until we integrate. So getting a habit and a practice on that daily piece, like, okay, make a decision. Is it, first thing in the morning, you're an early riser, and at 6 a.m. you're going to have a cup of coffee and watch your ramp video for the day? Or is it you're going to go work out, do your, exercise for the day and have breakfast, and you start your work day at, 8:30 a.m. or 9 o'clock, and you're going to launch that with your ramp video for the day, and subsequently what happens from there? Decide what is going to best be the thing for you so that consistently you set yourself up to be consistent and get the value of the program. What my experience has been in the being in the background when Rick's doing the ramp calls on Fridays is that a lot of the time it's Rick talking because people haven't watched the videos and they haven't done the work, or they've done pieces of the work, and because they haven't gone through what there is to do during the week, there's nothing to talk about. There's no questions. So they just sit there and it's kind of like, okay, do me. And that is not the way to create maximum value for yourself. The benefit of having Rick, who is 42-year veteran, not meaning that he's old, even though he's turning 65, he's hitting the halfway mark in his life. The benefit of those 42 years is that as you take this structure and this foundation, which is how to thrive as a real estate professional, you're getting the training that's coming from Workman, but the Friday calls are designed for you to tap and pick the brain of a master coach with Workman Success Systems that's got a highly running, functioning team still 42 years later in the industry, so that you can essentially stand on the shoulder of giants. Now I've called him a veteran and a giant all in the same 60 seconds. He's sitting over here. I can, body language between husband and wife, we're sitting at the same table, but you're able to tap into that, right? So a lot of times, we make the mistake and go, the value that I'm going to receive out of this program is going to be based on the content in the program and the coach, Rick, at 10 a.m. on a Friday morning. And I'm going to suggest to you that's not the case at all. The value that you will create in this program, or that you will receive in this program, will be how much you engage with it personally, how much you're willing to jump in and go for it. Like jump in the deep end of the pool. When we jump in the deep end of the pool, what do? We sink or swim, right? And so it's going to happen in your career too. As the market shifts, you're going to sink or you're going to swim. And so this is a great place to get yourself set up proactively to not just be swimming, but to be thriving through this. So those, the why of the program and why we're doing it and why we do it every quarter, right? Because most people are not going to implement and integrate everything in their first go around, maybe not even in their 7th or 8th go around. And so we'll continue to do this piece while you have access to all of the other content and video tutorials in the other program. This one specifically is the one that over and over again, regardless of if you focus on sellers or you focus on buyers, or you're looking to get more operationally excellent functionally in your business, Ramp is going to be the one that hits all of those things across the board. However, on your own time, for sure, you can go through the other courses and glean the value that's in the content there. So our encouragement to you is also right now to be thinking, who is it that I know that that I'm friends with in the business or in the industry, right? We don't get a dime out of the $149 that goes to Workman Success Systems. Workman Success Systems gets 100% of your $149 for having access to the platform for the year. The reason why I'm bringing that up is not to get Workman Success Systems on more $149 registrants. The reason why I'm bringing that up is who is it that you are in relationship with within your EXP organization, and maybe people that are coming into your organization. One of the things that I heard recently, we had a leadership event here, and there was a gal, she's like, yeah, I had 2 people that were part of my EXP organization. And they just, they really needed support with production in their sales business. And I'm busy in my production and sales business, and I just don't have time to support them in that. And so, they left EXP, and it was like, did you know about Ramp? No, what's Ramp? So even though this has gone out in an email, multiple emails to over 2,800 people in our organization, we don't know all of those people personally. And so who are the people that that may be part of your organizations that don't understand the value of, hey, wait a minute, this lets me focus on my own real estate sales business. If I'm also at EXP building an organization, it's a way for me to leverage myself by making sure that whoever I'm working with has the support in taking their business to the next level and part of a larger conversation and community. And so that's why this recording will go out, so that people have the opportunity to learn a little bit, see a little bit, make a decision to get registered and jump in first thing with the video series that starts Monday morning and the first coaching call that will happen next week. I'm going to pass it back to Rick to add on anything I might have missed, any other perspectives or thoughts that might have come up for him since we have gone through this piece. Back.
All right. Well, good. Thank you. And I got to admit, she did incredible. I'm done. See ya. No, I'm kidding. So I did want to reinforce a lot of the things she said, but I also kind of want to go through the importance, not just, so look, let's be honest, the average video is 6 minutes long. That's the average video, maybe 7. It's not a big deal to be able to watch the video. But what is a big deal is committing, as Casey said. All right, there's downloads, there's homework assignments. And look, we have introduced Ramp to successful real estate agents who have added 2 to 3 deals per month into their current production just by having gone through this program. All right. Now, there is one aspect of this program that is called Top 50. I'm not going to talk about it. We'll talk about it when we get to that lesson. But the reason I bring that up is I remember that one of the coaching clients I was assigned, their team was doing 600 transactions a year. Now, for the majority of people, we'd say 600 transactions a year. What the hell do you need a coach for, dude? Well, man, they were a mess. They were a mess. They were an operational mess. But also, when we introduced Top 50 to them, in the first year we introduced Top 50 to them, they did 80 transactions off of Top 50 alone by incorporating Top 50 with all of the buyer's agents and the lead agent of the team, the Rainmaker, all started using it. In their first year, they added 80 transactions closed as a result of Top 50. Now, these are true stories that happen. You go, well, that's them. They were already selling 600. No, they just did the work. Nothing matters except the activities that you do in a day. That's what gets the difference. So I love this program. To me, it's one of the greatest coaching programs I've ever seen, and I've been coaching for many years. So now, when we go through it, Casey showed you kind of the back room. She showed you the back room. And when we come to the call, and she already went through this, but when we come to call next Friday, you will have been done with week 1. And guess what? The majority of you will have started week 1 and not really finished it. You may have watched all 12 videos. Week 1 has 12 videos, more videos than any other week. Okay. But did you do the homework assignments? Did you fill out the business plan workbook? That's why they break the business plan workbook down to so many different exercises and videos. it's really probably one of the most brilliant things. You go, why would I be doing a business plan workbook in the month of May or June? Because we're starting again, just as Casey said. So let me stop right there. Casey's got the screen share up. Tell me about whatever questions, comments, ahas, thoughts that you have so we can clarify it. If you have a question, thought, comment, or aha, so does someone else. So let's share what we're thinking.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Yeah. So to sign into this, where was the Zoom link? I got it from Randy, since Amberly's doing that other coaching, and so I got that Zoom link through Randy, but I wasn't sure how we access the Zoom if I wouldn't have gotten that.
Okay, Casey will address that real.
I have a
Okay.
question. I'm currently with the Tom. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead,
Oh,
Casey.
go ahead. Go ahead.
So I'm currently with the Tom Ferry coaching, and my contract is coming up, and I'm thinking of not renewing. I think one of the things that I have going over there is one-on-one coaching, and this is group. But I think the thing that I kind of benefit from is accountability. Could you comment on that a little bit?
Do that. Okay. So Casey's going to go back and answer Jeff's question here in a second, but I want, let me go ahead.
Okay, Jeff.
You're on mute, Casey.
So Empirebuilders.pro under mastery coaching, when you go to returning member sign in, click here to add to your calendar. That's where it is. In addition, there's anyone that's registered has received at least 3 emails that had the Zoom links in it. And so go back and check your emails as well. They're in there. However, that's how you find it off the website.
Unmute. Okay, so to address the question about, and let's see, that is Sohail. Is that how you pronounce your name, sir?
Sohail.
Sohail, yes, I've met you before, I think.
We met at the Rosie's event in
That's
Riverside.
right. That's right. Well, yeah, so the first thing is on this call, we're not going to talk down about any other coaching programs, but this one is only $149 once a year. I am a $3,000 a month coach, meaning when when Workman Success Systems hires me out, I get paid. The company gets paid anywhere from $2,150 to $5,000 a month for 2 calls with me. You get me for free every single Friday. Now, when you have a personal one-on-one coach, you're getting the kind of accountability where you're going to jump on another call and have to say, I did this, I didn't. We will not be going through the calls every Friday and going, did you do it? Why didn't you do it? You told me you're going to do it. Why didn't you do it? Like, we're not going to do that. Yeah, jump right in, baby. In fact, they can hear you if you just talk, because I'm.
Okay. So for those of you that want accountability, here's always the greatest accountability is in the chat. Put in the chat, here's what I'm committed to by next week. And then in the chat, here's what I did. So if you want to hold yourself like really accountable, make a declaration and then report back to this entire group on the chat. And that is an amazing way to hold yourself accountable, because in my experience, what happens with accountability, yeah, you can get an accountability buddy, however, if you're friends or you become friends and they're like, I know. And then we have the story of why it didn't happen and what happened in its place and what became more important. And so that kind of accountability can go out the window. However, I don't know about you, but when I am in a group of peers and I say, here's what I'm going to do, if I don't do it, my credibility is like, she's full of it. Like what she say doesn't happen. How am I going to trust her? She doesn't follow through. Da, 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 da. So like, if you really are looking to take on accountability at a high level, I would invite you to, in the chat before the end of this call, like maybe your commitment is that I'm committed to having all the video tutorials and homework done and ready for the call next Friday, and you jump on the call. here's where I am on my commitment. And that becomes something that becomes part of the chat, so that now in a group of peers, you're holding yourself responsible and also accountable, right? And that to me is one of the greatest forms of accountability, because there's eyeballs, right? There's only one set of eyeballs. It's like, but when you got, multiple sets of eyeballs knowing what you said you were going to do, and then you actually do it, I find that's a really great thing for accountability. Back to you, Rick.
Okay. Let's see. I think we had one more question that I maybe didn't hear expressed. So what was the question? Do you go? Oh, well, yes, it's not necessarily one video a day if you have 1 week to do 12 videos like week 1. It varies on each week how many videos, but the idea is, when the program was designed, to get all of those videos for each week done in that week, even if it's more than one per day. And typically you could watch all 12 videos in less than 2 hours for week 1. But generally you're going to watch maybe 2 or 3 of them, but there's downloads and there's homework assignments. The homework assignments sometimes are filling out the downloads, and sometimes they're making calls and seeing what the results are. If you are committed to adding 2 transactions a month to your current production, and you do everything it tells you to do here, it will work. We have thousands of examples, thousands, in Workman Success Systems. Okay, you're going to learn about something in the first week called a daily success habits form. People hate it. And here's what we have proof: that when they use it and do as they're instructed in the videos, they succeed at a level they didn't believe was possible. Okay, we have a coaching client that's been with us 7 years. She's been with a coaching client as Workman. She hired Workman as a brand new agent at $850 a month. Right now, she pays Workman for her coaching $3,500 a month, because she's that big of a team and that big of a production, and has teams in both the state of North Carolina and the state of Michigan. Why do I bring her up? Because she took a risk. She said, I'm leaving my corporate life and I'm committed to succeeding in this business I know nothing about. Why wouldn't I hire a coach? She hired a one-on-one coach for $850. And now between both her teams, she does about 1.6 million in closed commissions a year. Guess what her favorite program is to this day? Is Ramp. Okay, so it's great to be able to do this. I do like the commitments that are coming across here. And this is a big deal. Guess what? Guess what you can do right now? If you go to the chat, click on the chat box at the bottom of your screen. When it's at the very bottom right, you're going to see 3 little dots. If you click on those 3 little dots, the first thing you'll see is an ability to save the chat. Okay, you should do that just before we get off the call. Okay, so that you have proof, so that you can come back and say, oh, Bernadette said this and Manny said this. And, that's a good way for us all to hold each other accountable. But I don't have the bandwidth, obviously, because we have about 50 people on this call right now, but we have hundreds signed up for Ramp. And I'm not going to rent a helicopter and fly over everybody's house and say, hey, what are you doing? But I'm going to do my best to allow you to have the feeling of what it's like to succeed. And that in itself is a good way to hold you accountable. Go ahead, Case.
Here's one last thing on accountability is that I like the word accountability makes a lot of people twitch. And it's like, I want to do what I want to do, particularly real estate agents, I find, or entrepreneurs. It's like, I don't want to, this is why I don't have a job. I do what I want to do. And if what I want to do changes, then I will change it. And I don't have to, because I work for myself. Right. And so here's what I would say, like, if you shift your mindset around what accountability is, and let's talk about self-esteem. When I say that I'm going to do something and I follow through and I do it, my self-esteem goes up. When I say that I'm going to do something and I do not follow through and do it, my self-esteem goes down. Period. And so when you look at being confident and certain and successful and growing, what do you think the relationship is between a strong self-esteem and what we'll call accountability, which is doing what you say that you're going to do? and keeping your word. There's a very strong relationship there. Now there's, sometimes life happens, right? I say I'm going to do something and I don't. Well, what am I doing when that happens? The accountability piece of that is, oh, I committed to having all of the videos done and the homework done by Friday. And I show up on Friday and, something like went completely sideways on Thursday. And so I didn't complete. Well, maybe I'm looking at completing early, moving forward so that I have a cushion. I've got an extra space so that no matter what, I'm setting myself up to win. And the second piece is, okay, great. Here's what I committed to. And no story. The story doesn't matter. I didn't do it. And here's when I will have it done by. It is a new commitment being made to reestablish. It's the acknowledgement of it, right? So a lot of times when we don't acknowledge, then we just bury it and go, yeah, I didn't do it. I know I didn't do what I said I was going to do. And then we say we're going to do something else. Yeah, I know I didn't do what I said I was going to do. And it becomes this pressure that builds inside of us, versus when you have a really great relationship with, here's what I say I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it. And I know I can renegotiate that to change it and move it and make a new agreement around it. It's that it still happens, not that it just doesn't happen at all because now I beat myself up and just stop making any commitments at all to do anything. Right? Which is an extreme that can be easy to go to. So when you start to really look at, hey, when I give my word, what's the energy that I can create? And what is the experience that now my clients and my business partners start to have of me? Do they have an experience of me that when I say I'm going to do something, I deliver? And what does that mean for our working relationship? What does that mean for my client? Oh yeah, I'll call you at 3:00. Oh, sorry, I forgot to call you. Oh, sorry, something came up, right? Imagine being the client on the other end of that conversation versus, hey, we had a call scheduled at 3:00. I missed the call. I want to acknowledge that. When can we reschedule for? It creates a totally different energy. It's taking 100% responsibility. And this is all what accountability is about. So accountability is not, oh, I told my coach I'm going to do, how many by when, and then, oh, I didn't do it. And now he's got to beat me up and make me pay $1,000 or agree to $1,000 is going to charity if I don't do what I said I'm going to do. And now there's some horrible consequence for not keeping your commitment. That's called parenting, you guys. And I know that works for some people, but I think most people on this call are adults, right? So we don't need someone to parent us or to make us do things. When they sit inside of our values, which is, I want to grow, I want to become better, we willingly go, okay, what are the things that I'm willing to commit to right now? And then follow through on those things. And if you're not willing to commit, that's fine. Just say you're not willing to commit to it. And then you haven't given your word and broken your word. You're just being honest about what you are willing to do or not willing to do. So there's this spectrum really of how we manage our own energy with ourselves, with other people, based on those things. And all of this falls under this umbrella of accountability, which is your relationship with your word, your relationship with yourself and your credibility. And then ultimately what becomes possible, the more closely those things align. So if we don't have any more questions, I think we can wrap up the call for today. I will give one last opportunity for any thoughts, questions, comments, or anything that might need clarification before we say goodbye for now.
I definitely have a question, Casey. Oh, wait.
I have a question. How come they can't you hear me?
All right.
Oh.
So let's see. Can you guys hear me? Great.
Mhm.
Somebody sent a text. Rick, you should post a link into the lies we tell ourselves that YouTube was. Oh, you mean the Free Friday coaching call one, Vanessa? Is that what you meant?
No, the one you did at Workman's Success, and they videotaped it. It was like 5 years ago, like when we lie to ourselves when we wake up in the morning and how we chip at our self-esteem.
Oh, yes. Can you find that and send it to me, and then I will.
I'll find it.
Okay.
It's really good.
Yeah. That's amazing that you saw that. I did that in an event. Wasn't I at an event on stage or something? Yeah, I remember that. Wow. Cool. All right. Well, great. Well, guys, it's really good to have everybody on the call. We love the enthusiasm. We can create more energy.
You can probably answer it.
We can create more energy by all of us doing what we want. We create an energy that actually starts to affect the people around us by committing to what we're doing and actually doing what we committed to. So I really want to thank Casey. I didn't expect her to have time to be on today, but she jumped on and she always has some words of wisdom. So let's go out and make a difference. And I will really look forward to today's week 1. We have 13 total. So the next 12 are going to be momentous as to what we can accomplish. Okay.
I have one quick question.
Yes, Shelley. Who was that?
It's Bernadette.
Hi, Bernadette.
Hi. So if I can't start for a couple weeks, because I believe I'll be done with chemo then, and I just don't want to do it at the same time, do I start at the 2-week mark, or do I start at the beginning and just kind of stay behind everybody?
Okay. So first of all, let's not worry about everybody. Let's worry about you.
Okay.
Okay. You're one of my heroes for what
Thank
you're
you.
capable of doing. Bernadette's from the Las Vegas area, guys. So what I would say, Bernadette, is these are all going to be, the Friday calls we do are going to be recorded. And when you get going, it's really easy to catch up if you're willing to get the homework assignments done.
Okay.
But so I would say that, come back on that week if you don't have any bandwidth for watching videos, or if you have a bandwidth to watch a few videos but not do the homework for the next 2 weeks, that's fine. But in week 3, you'll ramp up. You'll be a little bit crazy busy for the first 2 weeks catching up, but then it'll be just like everybody else. Okay.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
That would be my suggestion. Okay. Anybody else got anything for us? All right. Well, we're going to let you guys go. Have an amazing weekend. And look, if you are working this weekend and work slows down, or you're at an open house and nobody's coming in or whatever, it's a good time to sign in and start checking out what's going on there, because you'll have a head start on next week. All right. Guys, have a great weekend. We'll talk to you soon, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks for letting me butt in on that. I just felt very